Hi, comic book guys and gals. Welcome to Anachronic Comics and another episode of the comics my mom let me keep. This episode is part 3 of the Fantastic Four comic books that survived my family's move back in 1969. Now, I have the first 4 Fantastic Four annuals. These annuals, unlike those from DC at the time, not only had reprints, but also had new stories that continued the storylines from the actual Fantastic Four comic books. Let's take a look. Now, FF Annual 1 was published between FF 18 and 19 and had a release date of July 2nd, 1963. The cover was drawn by Jack Kirby and inked by Dick Ayers, and they both did the artwork on the original story, which was entitled Submariner vs. the Human Race, written by Stan Lee. The new story occurs between FF 18 and 19. Namor finally found his long-lost people who had been roaming the seas since Atlantis was blown up in the 1950s. This was in Submariner number 1. They had made a new home under Bivra, who was Emperor Thakur's stepson. But Namor showed up and kicked him off the throne because Namor was the true king of Atlantis. He then snatched up the FF, who were snooping around his business. He told them to go back and tell the United Nations that Atlantis ruled the waves and the sky above them. So this is the first time we get to see the Atlanteans with blue skin. They used to have green scales, huge eyes, and whiskers under their noses. The ladies always looked more like us, but still had some fishy features. Now, nobody knows why they changed, but most flashbacks in the story also have them as blue-skinned. The reprint is the Fabulous Fantastic Four meets Spider-Man, which not only reprints the Fantastic Four's battle with Spider-Man from Amazing Spider-Man number 1, but includes newly written and drawn expanded battle scenes. Interestingly, the story was drawn by Jack Kirby and inked by Steve Ditko. Next is the Fantastic Four, which is a reprint of the first story in Fantastic Four number 1, where our heroes first meet the Mole Man. Now, included in this issue is an expanded schematic of the Baxter Building, which was first set out in Fantastic Four number 3. In this annual, we also see the start of a series which highlighted Fantastic Four villains, which is entitled Gallery of the Fantastic Four's Most Famous Foes. That's hard to say. This segment of the comic was 11 full-page spreads of major rivals that the Fantastic Four had faced in previous comic issues. Each spread included a full-page art rendition of the character, the issue number in which they first appeared, and a brief biography of who the character was. Now, Fantastic Four Annual number 2 was issued between FF 30 and 31 with a release date of July 2nd, 1964, and a cover date of September 1964. This issue has 2 new stories. The first new story in this issue is The Origin of Dr. Doom, written by Stan Lee and penciled by Jack Kirby. It was inked by Chase Stone. So on the anniversary of his mother's death, Dr. Doom is greeted by his loyal servant Boris. So Doom leaves his castle and walks to the place where he was born, a humble farm, and he remembers his past. Based on his recollection, Victor was a brilliant inventor who caught the attention of State University, a prestigious institution in America. They offered him a full scholarship, which he accepted. There, he almost became roommates with Reed Richards, a young genius. One day, Reed barged into Victor's room and saw his plans for a device that would help Victor contact his mother's spirit. Victor was furious and threw Reed out, ignoring Reed's advice that some of his calculations were wrong. So when this device was ready, Victor asked his assistant to turn it on, but the error in his math caused the device to blow up in his face. His face was burned, and he was expelled from the university for conducting an illegal experiment. The Gallery of the Fantastic Four's Greatest Foes in this issue features Super Skrull, Rama Tut, Hate Monger, the Molecule Man, the Infant Terrible, and Diablo. This issue also provides what Stan called pin-ups of the Fantastic Four, including the Thing's girlfriend, Alicia Masters. The reprint is Prisoners of Dr. Doom from Fantastic Four number 5, Dr. Doom's first appearance. The second news story, The Final Victory of Dr. Doom, happens between FF30 and 31. Doom is rescued by Rama Tut, a time-traveling adventurer from the future who finds him drifting in space. They have a chat and wonder if they are actually the same person from different timelines. Rama Tut likes the idea and drops Doom back on Earth, then goes off to have more fun in the past. Doom sneaks into the Latvian embassy and prepares a trap for the FF. He throws them a party and acts friendly, but he puts a drug in their drinks that makes them see things. He makes them think that they're fighting their enemies, but in fact, they're fighting each other, until they realize that Doom is messing with them. They regroup and go after Doom at their base. Reed challenges Doom to a duel, where they have to use a mind-controlled weapon to blast each other. So Reed gives Doom one more drink before they start. Doom activates the weapon and thinks that he kills Reed, then leaves the Baxter building happy. But Reed has tricked him by giving him the same drug he used on them. So Doom was just hallucinating. Fantastic Four Annual number 3 was issued on July 1st, 1965, with a cover date of October 1965. The news story, Bedlam at the Baxter Building. This story takes place between Fantastic Four 43 and 44, written by Stan Lee and penciled by Jack Kirby. Dr. Doom was furious when he saw the newspaper headline, Reed Richards and Sue Storm getting married. He swore to ruin their happiness by using his device that he could manipulate emotions. He sent a signal to all the supervillains in the world, making them feel an irresistible urge to crash the wedding. He wanted to get back at the Fantastic Four for what they did to his hands in their last encounter. He had been planning this revenge for a long time. Meanwhile, at the Baxter Building, a huge crowd of fans and reporters gathered to witness the celebrity guests arriving for the wedding. Among them were Millie the model and Patsy Walker. But soon, chaos erupted as the villains attacked the building, trying to stop the ceremony. The heroes fought back, defending the bride and groom. Reed Richards was then contacted by the Watcher, who gave him a device that could teleport all the villains away and erase their memories of the attack. Reed used it, and the wedding was saved. Reed and Sue finally exchanged their vows and kissed. Outside, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby tried to get in, but they were rejected by security. They walked away grumbling of how they would make them pay. So, this story is told from another perspective in Marvel Heroes Legends number 1, as well as Marvel's number 2. And both of these tales confirm that the time displacer device that the Watcher gave Reed not only wiped out the memories of the villains who attacked the wedding, but everyone on Earth. It also wiped out any photographic evidence of the villain's attack, so that the record of Reed and Sue's wedding was not marred with reports of the battle. The 3 reprints are Captives of the Deadly Duo from Fantastic Four number 6, which sets up Dr. Doom Namor team-up, A Visit with the Fantastic Four from Fantastic Four number 11, where we see the Fantastic Four visiting with some local fans of theirs and responding to fan mail. And the third was The Impossible Man, also from Fantastic Four number 11, where the FF had to deal with an alien from the planet Pop-Up, where his people evolved into beings that could change shape into any form in order to deal with any threats to their lives. And my last is Fantastic Four Annual number 4, which was released in August of 1966 with a cover date of November 1966. The new story, The Torch That Was, happened between FF 56 and 57, written by Stan Lee and penciled by Jack Kirby. Reed, Sue, and Ben are busy checking out some letters from their fans when they hear a loud noise. They turn around and see Johnny and Wyatt Wingfoot appear out of nowhere thanks to Lockjaw's teleportation. To those of you who may not know Wyatt Wingfoot, he was a member of the Kiwazi tribe of Oklahoma and became Johnny's friend when they met as freshmen at Metro College. Meanwhile, in another location, the Mad Thinker and his computer Quasimodo, who wants a human body in return for his help, find and fix the original Human Torch. Meanwhile, Johnny goes out to the desert to see if he can use his firepower to get to the Inhumans' hidden land, which is blocked by the negative zone. He meets the original Human Torch, and they start fighting. The others show up with Lockjaw and stop them. The original Torch calms down, and they all end up in the Mad Thinker's lab. The Thinker makes Quasimodo trigger a device that destroys the original Torch and then runs away. Johnny and Wyatt jump on Lockjaw as he teleports them somewhere else. The rest of the FF leave too, and Quasimodo is left alone and sad. Now, the original android Human Torch from the 1940s is back in action after a long absence. He first appeared in Marvel Comics number 1, where his origin story was told in a shortened version. In Saga of the Original Human Torch number 4 of July 1990, we find out what happened to the Torch between his last appearance in 1955 and the Mad Thinker reviving him. His powers flared out of control, and he seemingly perished in the Nevada desert. The two reprints are The Hulk vs. The Thing, which first appeared in Fantastic Four number 25, and The Avengers Take Over from Fantastic Four number 26. Thanks for watching. Check out the first 2 Fantastic Four episodes by clicking here and here. Be well, and I'll see you soon.